Hello, Namaskar. Welcome to this Think and Link series. I'm your host, Srinivasan. And today we are going to discuss about Chabahar Port's agreement that was signed between India and Iran. Now, to get a context of this agreement, it's very important for us to know where exactly Chabahar is located and how it is advantageous for India in terms of trade. And not only that, how it can bring synergy to the entire Middle East trade, to the Central Asia trade, as well as to the Baltic, as well as the Northern Europe. So let me share with you a map, and then we can discuss that further. So let me share. So I presume you all can see this particular map, right? So let's start. So India on Monday signed a 10-year deal with Iran on Chabahar Port. And today we are going to discuss and talk about this deal. And as I told you, that we need to put a geographical context to this agreement. And I'm sure that with the help of this map, you will be able to understand the geopolitical, trade, and economic implications of this particular deal. So let me take the highlighter and highlight some of the important. This is what is the Chabahar port that you can see, which is in Iran. This is the Gwadar port, which is in Pakistan. And this is the Bandar Abbas port, which is also in Iran. Most of our trade with Afghanistan has been always through Bandar Abbas. And from Bandar Abbas, it used to go either by rail or by road. Similarly, some of the consignments would go by Chabahar port, then again by rail or road. Now we need to know where exactly Mumbai is situated, where exactly Kandla is situated, and how these the western ports of India can take advantage of Chabahar. So when I say western ports, I'm including all the ports right from Cochin to Mangalore to Mumbai, as well as Kandla, all those ports. So let's see this particular thing. So this is where Mumbai is. So usually Mumbai's transit would be to Bandar Abbas. So from Bandar Abbas, it would go deep into the Central Asia. It would also go into Afghanistan. Now with Chabahar port coming in, from Mumbai, it will get into Chabahar. And from there, it will go right in and it will join this particular red line, which is called as the INSTC, which means International North-South Transport Corridor. Now, this corridor takes all the way from Bandar Abbas to Tehran, to Caspian Sea, to Volgograd, and directly to Moscow, and from there to St. Petersburg. Now, if you were to actually take a look at the trade in which it was being conducted, this blue line indicates the normal trade route from Mumbai via Red Sea, through Suez Canal, into the Mediterranean Sea, and from the Strait of Gibraltar. From here, you went into the Bay of Biscay, and then finally into North Sea, Baltic Sea, St. Petersburg, and Moscow. Now, this particular route was a very long route. Therefore, this Chabahar port can cut both freight by 30% and your timing, the transit period, by almost 7 to 8 days. So this is the greatest advantage that this particular Chabahar deal brings to India, not only to India, but to all these countries, all these Central Asian countries like Armenia, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Russia, and of course to Iran and Afghanistan. Right? So now let us see what is the advantages that we are going to get out of this particular deal that we have signed with Iran. Set out the broad context, let's examine the deal and its advantages. Chabahar is a deep water port located in the Sistan-Baluchistan province of Iran. It is the closest Iranian port to India and is located in the open sea, providing easy and secure access for large cargo ships. It provides the much needed sea access to landlocked countries of the region, including Afghanistan, Armenia, and Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. Now, Gujarat's Kandla port is the closest to Chabahar port at about 550 nautical miles. And from Mumbai, it is about 786 nautical miles. So when India on Monday signed 10-year contract to operate the strategic Iranian port of Chabahar, it was actually the finishing line or actually a crowning glory of our more than 20 years effort. The contract was signed by our shipping minister, Sarbananda Sonowal, and the new 10-year contract is between India Ports Global Ltd and Ports and Maritime Organization of Iran. So let's see what this contract is all about. So under this contract, the IPGL will equip and operate the port for a duration of the contract, that is a 10-year period. IPGL will further invest about $120 million in equipping the port. And not only that, plus India has also offered a rupee credit window equivalent about 250 million for mutually identified projects aimed at improving the Chabahar related infrastructure. Now, India is already participating in the development of the first phase of Shahid Bahetsi terminal at Chabahar in cooperation with Iran. And under that phase, it has already supplied 6 mobile harbor cranes and other equipments worth about $25 million. So this is what the entire thing about the contract is. But let's look at a brief history of Chabahar Port in terms of timeline. So in 1973, Iran inaugurated Chabahar Port. In 2003, India expressed its initial interest in developing that port and bolstering connectivity and trade with Afghanistan and Central Asia. In 2008, India and Iran signed a MOU for Chabahar and development of the transit corridor. Between 2008 and 2015, there was a lull. There was a brief period, where not much activity took place. That was because Iran sanctions were in place. And during this period, India obtained a waiver from the US for the use of Chabahar Port and was continuously negotiating and insisting for a long-term pact to be signed so that India could finance and manage the port. In 2016, when our Prime Minister Modi visited Iran, a tripartite port agreement was signed with Afghanistan, Iran, and India. In 2018, when Prime Minister Hassan Rouhani, he was the then Iranian president, not Prime Minister, president, visited India, the issue of expanding India's role were discussed. And on December 12th, 2018, India took over operations of Chabahar Port. But the agreement was subject to a yearly review and renewal. From 2020, the COVID pandemic struck us. 2021 20 to 2024, the next 4 years was not much progress was made. And in January 2024, that is this year, Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar visited Tehran and the development of Chabahar Port was once again revived. 12th May, a done deal for managing and operating the Chabahar Port for 10 years with automatic renewal. Now let's see what Chabahar Port has performed so far from, say, December 2018, when India took over the operations of Chabahar. It has handled a traffic of more than 90,000 TEUs, which is nothing but 20-foot equivalent unit of container traffic, and more than 8.4 million metric tons of bulk and general cargo. It has transshipped to Afghanistan through Chabahar a total of 2.5 million tons of wheat, 2,000 tons of pulses. In 2021, India supplied 40,000 liters of environment-friendly pesticide called malathion to Iran to fight locust menace through the port. So this deal brings a lot of advantages. The first reason is the port is more economical and stable route for landlocked countries of this region, including Afghanistan, to reach India and the global market. It will also help trade with Central Asia, such as Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, who have direct access to Indian Ocean and can trade with India. There are plans by India to develop a SEZ at Chabahar Port. Now, this port is envisaged as a game changer in regional connectivity, rivaling China's Belt and Road Initiative and being an alternative to Gwadar Port in Pakistan. Going further, we will see that Kazakhstan has been able to develop its terminal in Chabahar Port to connect with Gujarat ports. Uzbekistan has been keen to form a trilateral involving India and Iran for the use of the port. So a deal could be signed. It also has plans to connect Chabahar Port through rail, road via Afghanistan and northern Iran with itself. Armenia is also keen to get attached to this port through INSTC. Now, the INSTC is nothing but International North-South Transport Corridor. It's a 7,200-kilometer long multimodal transport grid to move freight from India, Iran, Russia, and Central Asia. And Russia is all for full utilization of Chabahar. It wants Chabahar to connect it with INSTC, providing another entry point to INSTC besides Bandar Abbas. I showed you all this in the map. The deal aims to bypass Pakistan's Gwadar port and establish a direct access with Afghanistan and Central Asia. This particular deal will definitely bring a steep increase in trade and investments between Gulf states and Central Asia through Chabahar Port because of its location in the Gulf of Hormuz. Not only that, as I told you earlier, the freight cost will go down by almost 30%, and the transit time will go down by at least 7 to 8 days. So our shipping and ports minister correctly summed up when he said that India's operation of Chabahar Port will be also significant in providing humanitarian aid, opening new vistas and fostering peace and stability in the region. With this, it's curtains to this episode. Thank you. If you have liked this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. See you again in another episode of Think and Link series. Till then, ciao.